to introduce you to an idea that's been hidden from the general public. It's how Icy Hot went from $20,000 to $13 million in just 15 months. It's how John Reese went from a profit of $5,500 a year, then jumped to $100,000 over a 7-day period, and then did $1 million over a 24-hour period, ending the year with several $1 million. If you work a job, it's how I helped my boss grow his business, where I did nearly $15,000 in a 6-hour period from my $15 an hour job. Hi, my name is Christopher Brown from alphalifestyleacademy.com. Now, if you're watching this live or the recording, you'll find a little chat box down in the bottom right-hand corner of the page to get any of your questions or concerns addressed. So let's dive into this. Now, I'm guessing for a lot of you, this is not the first time you've tried to make more money or improve some area of your life. You see, the marketplace is filled with opportunities, promising you that they can help you make more money. However, if things did not turn out for you as expected, let me assure you that this is not your fault, because much of the advice and opportunities out there is intended for those people who are already established, or for those who have an understanding of sophisticated algorithms of the internet to get the traffic you need. But what about those who have a job but are considering on going out on their own, but have a limited understanding of how to run a business and may have limited funds or no money? Those who have a business that's slowing down? What about those who know that they need to use technology to grow their business but don't understand it? Or perhaps you lost everything in a financial crisis and have to start all over again. What about those people? Now, just like the TV show Undercover Billionaire, where in Season 1 Glenn Stearns and Season 2 Grant Cardone was dropped off in the middle of nowhere with just $100 and a truck, where they were not allowed to use their name, their reputation, or their marketing skills online to build $1 million business in just 90 days. Now, this may seem unrealistic to you. However, let me introduce you to Sohail Khan, a multimillionaire who lost his fortune in the 2008 Great Recession, spent a little time to regroup, and became a millionaire again, generating 201,467 new customers, making $1.5 million for himself in just 30 days. So what does he know that you don't? I'm going to introduce you to an idea where you can do the same thing. Now, how much do you understand about marketing, cash flow, and raising business capital? You see, many business owners understand what they do, but they do not understand some of the other important areas of their business, like marketing. Now, online advertising has gotten really competitive because much of online advertising is based upon a bidding process. So who's ever willing to pay the most to get the traffic wins, driving the prices up for everyone else. So you really have to know what you're doing in order to run profitable ads online. So this has priced many smaller companies out of being able to advertise, and because of this, they're forced to find other ways to find customers. Now, you may not have the financial resources you need to advertise and or the understanding about advertising enough for it to be profitable. However, there is an advantage to being broke. Yeah, imagine that, an advantage to it. You see, your competition has the advantage of money and can't afford to fail. We've seen a lot of this the last number of years, companies like Disney and Budweiser. These companies built billion-dollar brands, yet they don't like their customers anymore and want a different type of customer. Disney has lost money in every single movie they released in 2023, especially when you consider the marketing budget for these movies, and have been forced to lay off thousands of people. Meanwhile, the big bosses gave themselves bonuses. However, you, who does not have the same advantages as these big companies, even if these big companies are only bigger in your own hometown, you have an advantage over them because you are the most dangerous person or company around. Because lacking the same financial resources as these bigger companies have forced you to become more creative and innovative, and thus are able to steal market share. Now, one of the first companies myself and Al Ninn worked with using this tactic was a dentist's office. We added 3,200 new patients to their practice in the first 90 days. Now, where did those patients come from? They were the patients of other dentists. However, because we filled in the gaps the competing dentists refused to make, we were able to take market share. So if you're tired of wasting your time and money on oversaturated ad networks, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, trying to get traffic that produce little or no results, there are massive but little known ad networks that are free but may have some minor operating expenses that are typically only known and used by the richest and smartest entrepreneurs. Now, every so often I hear skeptics ask about legitimate ways to make more money and improve some area of their business. And I always smile because I know they don't know how leverage works. You see, most people are used to exchanging time for money. If you have a service business like an account, doctor's office, plumbers, trades, you may have to sell a service and then spend your time doing the job and providing the service to the customer. So when they hear stories of someone making $100,000 over a weekend, it doesn't make sense to them. Now, the purpose of advertising and building a customer base is when someone has put in the effort to build a large enough following that they can set out a message to that following, like an email, social media post, or advertising campaign through the mail. They only need a small percentage of their following to respond to the message in order to reach their income goal. However, it may take a lot of time, effort, and financial resources that you may not have at this time to build a following large enough to reach your income goal. But just think how much easier it would be to find somebody who is already successful, send out a message to their following endorsing you and what you have to offer. Now, the first time I did this, I made a deal with Joel Broughton, who sent out an email endorsing my new weight loss product that I just started the day before. So he sent out that email to his customer base, and within the next 6 hours after sending out that email, that turned into nearly $15,000. Now, the next time I did this, kind of spoke about this already, I did a project with Alan where we landed a deal with his dentist and partnered up with several beauty salons in the area, provided them with marketing material, which turned into 3,200 new patients in the first 90 days at an average of about $2,000 per patient for a total of $6.5 million over the next 12 months. Now, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Christopher Brown. My last job, I was hired as a business strategist for a $400 million marketing firm, many times working with executives from billion-dollar companies like Ancestry.com, Crate Trucking, Procter & Gamble, and others. Now, after doing an average of 60 sessions per week, like I said, many of them with executives from billion-dollar companies, I noticed a pattern that we started calling as the billion-dollar blueprint, a set of principles that many existing billion-dollar companies follow and brought that same success to the internet. However, when new startup companies and even smaller companies use the billion-dollar blueprint, at times I've been able to see them do $1 million within 24 hours after launching, or at least within a 3 to 12 month period. So I've taken what I've learned from these companies and created a shortcut for you. Love him or hate him, this is how Bill Gates did nearly his first $10 million. Now I'm opening up this opportunity. You see, these ad networks are amazing at growing local companies like medical offices, real estate agents, restaurants, and online businesses like social media influencers, experts, e-commerce, and even network marketers. Now, Tom of Inside Quest grew their nutrition company by sending out letters to several hundred fitness influencers through the mail with samples of their products. Some of them, not all of them, began talking about the products on Instagram, resulting in $1 billion in 3 years. Let me give you an oversimplified explanation of how this works. This is Len and Annette, who together run a carpet cleaning business that we're going to call as Company A, who made a deal with Company B. So Company A refers their customers to Company B, and Company B refers their customers to Company A, or a variation of this. Now imagine doing this with hundreds of different companies. As you can see, you would never run out of customers again. Now, in the case of Len and Annette, they sent out a direct mail campaign to some of the local businesses where they came to an agreement with a dry cleaner, a furniture store, and a real estate agent who referred $1 million in business over the next 12 months. Now, people love the idea of using another company's customer base or somebody else's social media following to build their own customer base, but you still may have a lot of questions and concerns. So I've provided you with a workbook, video, and audio program to help you understand how this works and for you to be able to put this into action. Now, unlike what so many other companies are doing with their webinars and online events, selling you courses or software, we want to invite you to partner up with us because the only way other companies know how to make money is by charging you premium prices for their programs. On the other hand, I want to invite you to partner up with us, where we'll promote you to our network. But when you work with us, the better you do, the better we do, and the better we do, the more opportunities you will have to hit your goals. Now, Len and Annette had a system in place that did the selling for them by turning their mailman into their marketing team who delivered letters to some of the surrounding businesses looking for those businesses that would like to partner up with them. They came to an agreement with a real estate agent, furniture store, and a dry cleaner. Len and Annette then put in place the next step in their marketing system by having local businesses do the selling for them by distributing marketing material to their customer base that would drive their customers to do business with Len and Annette's carpet cleaning business, where they did $1 million in new business over a 12-month period, landing over 3,000 new clients. I've been using a piece of software that we call as an auto sales closing system that we'll talk more about shortly. But it created such a buzz for me that I was able to work with Joe Brelton. Again, I've already mentioned him a little bit earlier, but the way this worked is we were able to have a 1-hour phone call where we came to an agreement where he sent out an email to his customer base endorsing me and my new fitness product. And over the next 6 hours after sending out that email turned into nearly $15,000 for me and about $24,000 for him. Now, if I did things traditionally, like what many smaller companies are doing, I could have never made so many sales so quickly. But because I had not been using a website, but a software that did the selling for me. Now, this software collected interested prospects and presented my new product and closed them right there on the spot, processing their credit card right through the software while I was enjoying my Sunday with my friends. The thing that stops so many businesses from being able to do this is they don't have a system in place that does the selling for them. The way most businesses works is just takes too much labor for them to be able to do this. Now, we use a similar software that some of the biggest and most established companies in their field use. Damon Johns of Shark Tank, every company that he invests in, he sets them up with this software. Grant Cardone uses this in his companies. It was not featured on the show, but what helped him in his TV show Undercover Billionaire build $1 million business in just 90 days. That I like to call as an auto sales closing system because it does the selling for you. That will, number 1, generate interest. Number 2, capture your leads. Number 3, present your products to your prospects. Number 4, closing them right there on the spot. Number 5, if they don't buy, it follows up with them, closing them at a later point. Number 6, by capitalizing on 9 different categories of income streams. This is not a new idea. The technology may be new, but the things that most successful companies are now doing online is what companies were doing during the 1920s, 30s, and 40s through print magazines, and what Len and Annette did through the mail. Now, unlike what many companies are doing today, in those days, companies were less concerned with branding and getting their name out there, and were more concerned with making sales. Take, for instance, this Bisquick ad from the back cover of a 1931 Cosmopolitan magazine, where someone would send in a coupon on the bottom right-hand corner of the magazine to receive a free Bisquick cookbook that educated their readers and highlighted the importance of why a person should cook with Bisquick. We use the online equivalent of what companies were doing in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s with what is known as a landing page or sales funnel, and what I like to call as an auto sales closing system because it is a software that does the selling for you. A thing that many companies get wrong is advertising is not just letting people know what it is that you do, but understanding human behaviors and how by having the proper combinations of words, shapes, and colors, this will motivate a person to do business with you over your competitors. So we use a simple one-page website to collect email subscribers. Recently, Learn published that these simple one-page websites outperform traditional websites by 2,400%. Now, there's a lot of hype regarding social media, but when it comes down to spending money, more money is spent through email than any other media type. Many businesses do not understand the numbers or the economics of their business. This is why you might have someone promote a certain social media channel. However, unless you understand the numbers, the tactic is useless. Chet Holmes International published in 2023, because of the overabundances of messages coming at us on social media, it takes somebody to see 500 of your posts to remember you. And because of the different algorithms on social media, only somewhere between 2.5% to 5% of your following will even see your message. So it's not a very optimistic outlook. Many smaller companies underestimate the power of email because they do not understand the numbers. While the Direct Marketing Association reported that social media has a return of 28%, while email has a return of 3,800%. So for every dollar you spend to acquire an email newsletter subscriber, that brings in a return of $40. So spend $1, make $40. Spend $2, make $80. Spend $2,000, make $80,000. Get the point? Woo! If that's not enough to have you consider email, surely this will do the trick. Dean Jackson of the I Love Marketing podcast reported on a study that showed when somebody inquires about a product or becomes a lead for a company, 50% end up buying from someone in the first 18 months, but only 15% of them buy in the first 90 days, where 85% of them buy beyond 90 days. So how are you going to remain in your prospects' minds until they are ready to buy? Now, research shows that when somebody shows interest in a solution or product and becomes a lead, it takes 22 days for them to build enough trust with them in order to buy. And you need to follow up with them 32 times. That means email, direct mail, text messages, and phone calls. Chet Holmes International published a study that shows that at any given time, just 3% of the population is ready to buy a particular product. So in other words, 3% are ready to buy a car, 3% are ready to buy a home, 3% are ready to buy insurance, and if you wait to this point to market to them, chances are it's already too late. Now 7% is thinking about it. So the 3% who are ready to buy and the 7% that is thinking about it, this is the market that 99% of your competition is going after. This is why using the customer base of other companies to grow your business is so important, because 30% are not thinking about it, another 30% think they are not interested, and the last 30% know they are not interested. However, by understanding this, you can go from 3% ready to buy to 30% ready to buy, and if you really understand marketing, up to 70% ready to buy by making some slight modifications to your marketing message. This way, you do not lose your prospects off to your competitors at a later point. And because emails are sent over an extended period of time, this is called as the customer journey. This is the path that a person goes through, leading them up to doing business with you. Now let's look at an example of this. A family-run furniture store who was featured in mobile marketing ran a contest to those who were thinking about buying furniture, to those 7%, by collecting their email and mobile number. Then the during unit, they sent out a message to those people promoting a special 4-day secret sales to only this audience. Then the 3% spent $53,022 from just email. Most companies only focus on acquiring a customer. However, if you want referrals, the only way to get a significant amount of referrals is to continue to build trust with your customer after they buy by segmenting your list. It's not only important that you send follow-up messages, but you send the right kind of message to each person. The before, during, and after, which includes email, but you might also include text messaging, voice broadcasts, and direct mail. The owner of a sub-franchise had 3 franchises. They had the 24th, 48th, and 92nd top grossing store. However, by using email with their already existing customers, he jumped to the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 top grossing store. Mary Ellen Tribby of Early to Rise was responsible for growing the business from $8 million to $26 million in just 15 months. Before that, she helped Weiss Research go from $11 million to $67 million in just 12 months, all from email. Again, the purpose of advertising is to build a customer base. And when somebody has put in the effort to build a large enough following where they can send out a message to their following like email, social media posts, or ad campaigns through the mail, they only need a small percentage of their following to respond to the message to reach their income goal. However, it may take a lot of time, effort, and financial resources when you do this through traditional advertising. But just think how much easier it would be to find somebody who is already successful, send out a message to their following endorsing you and what you have to offer. Let me ask you, where are you starting from? Have you been in business for a while but don't understand the value of email? Or are you just starting out in business? Both of you are starting out from the same point. You are just one partnership away from changing your life. By using the customer base of somebody else's following to grow your customer base and grow your company goes by many terms. It's often known as joint ventures, strategic partnership. It's also known by a few other terms. So we use these partnerships in combination with different technologies like email and what we call as an auto sales closing system. So again, you are just one partnership away from changing your life. Jose and Amish sent out an email to 17,000 of their subscribers and just past noon became millionaires by doing 2 things. Number 1, using somebody else's following to build their customer base, or what is known as a joint venture. And number 2, sending out 17,000 emails to their email subscribers. Now, you've heard the expression, take a penny, double it every day for a month. And if you did that, that would give you more than $5 million. So we've taken that exact same concept with what we're doing here. Now, I came to an agreement with a medical clinic that had around 4,000 customers that we sent out emails to. That gave me the leverage to work with another company that has around the same number of customers that we're also sending out emails to. That brings us to 8,000 customers. I did the same thing again that brought us to 13,000 customers. Because I have 13,000 customers, I can email about your products and services. This gives me the leverage to work with more successful companies. We can now work with another company that also has 13,000 customers, bringing us to 26,000. Do it again to 52,000, to 104,000, to 208,000, to 416,000, to 832,000, to 1,664,000 that I can send emails to every day endorsing you and what you have to offer. Now, if you didn't get it before, I'm sure you're starting to see the power of joint ventures. In other words, using somebody else's customers or another influencer's social media following to build your customer base. Cody Sanchez started an email newsletter starting from 0 to 350,000 subscribers, bringing in $12 per subscriber, earning $4.2 million. Now, I have flooded you with a bunch of information. I understand it may take some time to digest everything to get started. So I've provided you with a digital workbook, video, and audio that you can go through in your own time to help you digest everything. Now, it would be very difficult for you to do this all on your own, but why not partner with somebody who has done this before for their clients? While working for a $400 million marketing firm as part of a team, I worked with executives from multi-billion-dollar companies like Ancestry.com, Crate Trucking, Procter & Gamble, Toyota, Victoria's Secrets, and other not as well-known companies doing hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, I can't do this on my own. I need a team, which is why I invited you here today. We have some amazing people that we're already working with, including Dr. Maroney, who runs Bel Air Weight Loss and Cosmetics, Bharat Jain, Kim Cubitt, and so many other great entrepreneurs. So my question for you is, have you heard enough to get started? Hinge reported that high growth companies that experience massive growth in terms of revenue, profit, and market share are 3 times more likely to use somebody else's following to build their customer base, which goes by many different names, including joint ventures. If you don't come from money or a family with great connections, then using the following of other influencers and companies is the best way for normal people to get ahead. Money is the reward for making your customers happy and keeping them coming back. Money isn't everything, it's just one area of your life you need to get handled. People have different financial goals, but if your goal is to become a millionaire, you would need to spend about $250,000 in digital advertising to make $1 million. However, John Reese had a business where he made $5,500 in profit. Once he was introduced to joint ventures, he put it into action. He was the first normal person to make $1 million in 24 hours. Then he tried a few more times throughout the year, closing the year out at nearly $7 million. Jeff Walker made no money for 6 years, while his wife worked. After 9 years, he made a total of $210,000. However, once he started using joint ventures, he did $3.5 million in a 35-hour period. Again, people love the idea of using another company's customer base or another influencer's following to build their customer base, but going from idea to putting this into action is too much for most people because you already have so many issues you have to handle. So instead of trying to figure this out all on your own, I want to invite you to work with us as a team, where we'll give you a jump start on building your network, because we already have established relationships with other companies who we've already been marketing to. We just need to add you to our network so we can start sending them emails endorsing you and what you have to offer to that following. Your competition is only spending time with the 3% who are ready to buy and perhaps the 7% who are thinking about it, because they can only afford to spend their time with what they call as qualified prospects. On the other hand, you who is using a marketing system to introduce your solutions and establish trust that you're the best solution for their needs. We do this by using the modern equivalent of what companies were doing during the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, with a software that we call as an auto sales closing system that will, number 1, generate interest, number 2, capture your leads, number 3, present your products to your prospects, number 4, closing them right there on the spot, number 5, and if they don't buy, it follows up with them, closing them at a later point, number 6, by capitalizing on 9 different categories of income streams. Alexa Von Tobel built LearnVest.com and sold it to a major investment firm for $250 million, partly by using joint ventures as well as an auto sales closing system. Dave Asprey did the same thing, giving Folgers a run for their money, raising $60 million to build Bulletproof Coffee with the same type of software. Now, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. How many do you have? Many small business owners are already overwhelmed because of the way that they run their business. And because of that, within 12 months, 50% close their doors. Within 5 years, 80% close their doors. However, in those same 5 years, franchises have an 80% chance that they will be successful. Franchises have a proven system of success, a system that operates without the owner. An auto sales closing system allows you to add additional income streams without any additional work on your part. This is important because the more expensive your products are, the more trust you have to develop before they will buy. However, by using an auto sales closing system, you can introduce introductory products. And when your customer gets results from those products, this builds trust and are more likely to buy what we call as your primary products and services or your more expensive products. We find and introduce untapped income sources to build trust and automate your business. Let's look at an example of a real estate agent who is on YouTube. Instead of just getting paid when he sells or lists a house, he has 9 categories of income streams. We call this as the gold rush principle. You'll find out why inside your workbook, video, and audio program. So let's dive into this. You may have seen this agent on YouTube because he's also a YouTuber. He tells a story of his best year where he made about $600,000 in commission. He developed ulcers because of the stress and the long hours. However, now he averages $28,330 from real estate, about $350,000 a year. He makes videos on YouTube and gets paid from the ad revenue for $31,968.31. Income number 3 is an affiliate program. Some of you may know what this is, for another $8,000 a month. Sells online courses for $44,876 a month. Does live events for another $3,000 a month. $29,100 from rentals and tax loopholes for another $13,000 a month. Dividends of about $1,000 a month. So when we look at all of this, 87% of his monthly incomes from those other income streams, not real estate. So just 13% of income comes from his primary source of business, which in his case is real estate. Now, unlike what many companies do, is they charge you premium prices for a marketing project and then leave you all on your own. We have a support team who will give you the personal attention to help you reach your goals. This can even be done over the phone. Now, it would be an impossible job for you to understand what we're going to do for you in your time here. So my question is, have you heard enough to partner up with us and to get started? Typically, you would need what is known in the industry as a joint venture broker, someone who will manage the deal and put the deal together for you. Joint venture brokers charge a retainer anywhere of $30,000 to $100,000 to cover the operating expenses, and the way they get paid is to take a percentage of the profits for themselves. This is why you don't see many smaller companies use joint ventures, and many smaller companies do not know about them. However, I wanted to open up this opportunity to get as many as you as possible to take part in this, so we can grow our companies together. It still takes $100,000 to put a project like this together. However, instead of charging you premium prices, we decided to divide the expenses among the network. So all that we ask is that you put in a small retainer to cover the cost of the software, labor, and put some skin in the game of just $300. Most marketing experts and agencies charge premium prices so they can live a luxury lifestyle, because that's the only way they know how to make money. We don't need to do that, because the more this network grows by working together as a team, the better you do and the better I do. Most companies only have a couple of marketing campaigns to attract customers. However, when you take advantage of this opportunity, you will get unlimited access to the software and the network. You will get unlimited marketing campaigns to go from 3% ready to buy to 7% to as much as 70% of the marketplace. By taking advantage of our lifetime access, you will have unlimited access to our growing database of marketing campaigns, allowing you to capture 100% of your local market. If you've heard enough to get started, you can pick from the unlimited plan or the yearly plan. Just pick from the options below this video for the plan that fits you best. Now, if you're ready to get started, welcome to the team. Otherwise, you can claim your free workbook, video, and audiobook to get all your questions answered. If you paid $300 with the big media sites like Facebook and YouTube, How much traffic would they get you? When you get started, we will be promoting you to our entire network. And as the user base of our network grows, we will still continue to promote you to our entire network every day. The answer is simple. Just pick from the options below to get started. One more thing, stay healthy, have a great day. I'm glad I could help you, and we'll meet up with you shortly.